Alright, next. Modern Warfare 2 makes you aim your gun at civilians to quote-unquote de-escalate. The latest Call of Duty campaign's borderline level has been raising eyebrows with its depiction of police de-escalation. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 may nail its core gunplay and feature some standout characters across the board, but also features some of the series' most questionably awful depictions of violence and military power yet. Worse than the No Russian mission? One level in particular, in which tensions rise between civilians and law enforcement, stands out as profoundly tone deaf and has been widely shared online as an example of the Call of Duty series at its most appalling and absurd. Okay. In the level Borderline, you take on the role of Mexican military special forces following the trail of cartel members who are wrapped up in a broader escalating narrative about terrorism. The level barely stops for air before encouraging you to shoot and kill people climbing the border wall into the United States. You then move through a residential area in Texas where armed citizens aren't too thrilled to see you running through their yards and houses. The game asks you to de-escalate civilians with your aim button, and sure enough, pressing it results in you pointing your gun at them. There's no unique animation or line of dialogue here. You don't pull out a badge and say, "Please go inside." You simply aim a weapon at their faces. These scenes have become a topic of conversation and critique across the internet. A few days ago, popular political streamer Hassan Piker, oh yeah, he's really fair, literally paused the game after de-escalating to comment on how remarkably awful this scenario is. As noted by Polygon, video essayist Jacob Geller also tweeted a video of the first de-escalation, which currently sits at 1 million views. This is far from an overlooked moment in a broader narrative. Borderline asks you to do this 3 times. On the third, despite your efforts to de-escalate, it seems the game gives you no alternative to violence. Standing in some random Texas citizen's living room, the civilians draw weapons of their own and start firing at you. This leads to a brief encounter with local police outside, where the following dialogue is shouted at you by cops with weapons drawn. Just as Mexican Special Forces Colonel Alejandro Vargas, the person leading the operation, is about to get cuffed, a cop steps out to stop the arrest and say, "It's hard to tell you boys apart from the cartel." You're then ambushed and have to fight off a few actual cartel members who are dressed nothing like your characters. They have little to no tactical gear on, no military insignia, and are arguably using noticeably different weaponry. So it seems the cops can't tell them apart, because why now? Sure, this is basically the entire level. Half of it spent aiming weapons at and killing people in private homes, then you're viciously threatened by law enforcement and racially profiled before finally getting into a few skirmishes with the game's bad guys. I recently had a conversation about this game with a friend who served in the military. In particular, we talked about another deeply uncomfortable moment of violence in the game. This one in the second level, where you gun down a person fleeing for their life and cowering in a bathroom. As he illustrated, awful things like this happen in war, but the depiction of this material, be that gunning down maimed or innocent people in a war zone or aiming weapons at civilians to de-escalate a situation, is a choice the developers made. And in cases like Killer Capture or Borderline, there's no clear alternative to these actions. This is not a recreation of a historical event, and while levels like Borderline echo contemporary events and wider conversations about how police interact with citizens, it's worth asking what is appropriate for a game like this. Why were these the decisions made when designing these levels? What notions about how police or soldiers should act are legitimized and reinforced when presented the way they are here? Questions of realism are beside the point. There are a remarkable number of unrealistic things in Modern Warfare 2. As Polygon reports, no searchable police documentation recommends aiming a weapon at someone to de-escalate a situation. So it's not as if they applied realistic standards to this fictional scenario. And remember, in the level's third de-escalation encounter, the people you're aiming at not only do have guns, but draw them on you, indicating not only that you were right to treat civilians as hostile threats, but as law enforcement, you're in constant danger. Meanwhile, in real life, it's very often the cops who are a threat to civilian. I'd like to rebut that. As police shoot unarmed people, again, I like to rebut that. Disproportionately people of color, that's totally false. However, these who built and designed the game close to run with this as the things you play out in a video game, in some cases with no alternative but to directly threaten the lives of innocent people, and these are the protagonists you're playing at. There are values and messages embedded in that, whether the game's created intended to be there or not. So basically, they're upset that you're not running around chasing rainbows in Call of Duty. How do you feel about this?
We're still talking about Modern Warfare 2 2022, right?
Yes.
Wow.
And I gotta say, after level 2 and 3, that makes me want to get the game a whole lot more.
Okay, because I only played the multiplayer as of yesterday with my friend online for 12 years through the Xbox community, and it's pretty good. It's a little slightly better than the original Modern Warfare 2019 reboot. So it's pretty good. And unfortunately, I didn't get to play campaign. I'm going to say the campaign from a record hopefully by sometime this week, like either Sunday or Tuesday, give or take, around that time. And
wait, so you have Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 2022?
Yes, I do. I had to sacrifice for it though. I had to give up. Had to give up on my one of my credit card payments in order to get this copy before, because I heard rumors that by November 18th something big is going to happen to the Modern Warfare community, as either that the people are going to stop playing the game, or that there's going to be a shift from the original Warzone to the Warzone 2 altogether. So during Thanksgiving weekend, it's going to be all fucking packed as crap in Modern Warfare 2's Warzone 2, and no one's going to play the team deathmatch games on the Modern Warfare 2. That's the rumor I'm hearing, in general speaking. So it's nothing too hard or solid right now, but yeah, I'm hearing interesting things about that day, November 18th. So yeah.
Yeah. Since the article decided to go here, I'll just rebut what they were saying.
Okay.
They say people of color. Well, people of color do more crime, based not being a huge part of the population.
Yeah.
At least in this country, they do about half the crimes in this country. So maybe that's a reason. And there were I forget what year it was. It was, I think, 2021 or might have been 2020. One of those years, 9 black unarmed guys were shot by the police, and of those cases, 7 were justified after an investigation, and the 2 who weren't justified, those cops involved, were dealt with. So I mean, that's so. If you want to try to say racism, that Game Informer writer needs to be fired because he has no idea what he's talking about.
If I can put myself as one example, I'm a black person by the identity of me being a black person, but you don't see me going out there, doing the crimes and stuff like that, because I'm one of the very few within that group of people. And if they can make that exception, also see another trend going on where there's lesser crime for the last 25 years, especially in my neighborhood, this part of Queens. And, it was crazy back 25 years ago. So because of the post crack pandemic, you want to call it. So, times have changed. So that data can be either outdated or it's constantly changing over the last at least 5 years now. So, it's yeah.
So get that whole racism disproportionate out of that. That's bullshit.
Hey, if I was the violent, one of the violent black men in this country, I think you're not going to see me on Xbox Live at all at this rate. Yeah. So it's kind of like, things have changed these from the old generations of what happened with them and the segregation, things that matter. So it's a slightly better country. We have a dark past, us United States of America. We do have a dark past, but we move on and we get things done. We get things to accomplish. What's called the first black president, first black governor. especially here in the United States. So it's kind of like, I mean, I don't know. This is a small little personal thing I'm seeing as a trend. And it's like that narrative has got to be outdated by now. Because it's like, you know, yes, there's still crime from how many groups, what type of groups, but at this rate, with the gaming industry booming and people staying home to have a good time with their family and friends, what better way to reduce crime is to give people what they want, entertainment, and to relieve themselves from everyday stress of life. So that's my take.
And I gotta say, this writer, I already X'd out the article, but this guy must have had a heart attack the first time he played a Grand Theft Auto game. You can play as a criminal? Oh my god! But no, I mean, this isn't even the first game to do that. I mean, I really like this guy to play Spec Ops: The Line on PS3.
Oh yeah.
There's a part where you're going through where you think like you're near an enemy encampment. So you find a launcher that launches white phosphorus,
Mm-hmm.
and it turned out after you kill everyone, you killed basically a refugee camp. And then the soldiers start turning on each other like, you made the decision to do this, and then about like a level or two later, you're actually surrounded by hostile citizens. You try to walk past them, they attack you, so you have to start shooting at them, unless you're just going to stand there in a circle, wait for them to come to you, I guess. I mean, they always surrounded you.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, I'd like that. I like this writer, whoever he was, to play Spec Ops: The Line. And honestly, the way this guy's tried to inject politics and what he believes into this article just makes me want to play the game a whole lot more now.
Oh yeah.
I actually want to play Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Just I don't have the money right now, but if I can get it, I'm a whole lot more interested in the campaign just because of this guy's holier than thou outlook on.
Yeah.
I bet you if he's white, he's full of white guilt. Hey, if I wouldn't have brought politics into it, but when he added that in the last paragraph of his article, he opened the doors for me to respond.
Understood.
So yeah, good on call. But the thing is, what I originally was thinking is they were able to add this, but they couldn't add something like the no Russian mission. This sounds even more extreme than the no Russian mission from the original Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Oh yeah.
But you know what? Good job, Good job, whoever made this Call of Duty. I'm not sure which company it was, but I applaud you.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Ready to move on, or?
As well, let you guys know that I will try to play that game sometime this next week. Technically speaking, next week. So, give me a chance, and I'll see how good this game is, and hopefully I can help out Triple J get a copy as well if we ever get a chance to. Because I think there's a sharing option where you can share people's games and stuff with certain accounts. So if you put it into your home,
probably I just have, but I still got an Xbox Live issue that I have to get resolved. But like I said, I plan to get that resolved Monday. So
no problem. All right then.
But ready to move on?
Oh yeah.
All right. Next. Somerville arrives this November. Somerville, the mysterious sci-fi adventure game, finally has a release date, and it's only a few weeks away. The game arrives on November 15th. The experience comes from Jumpship, a studio founded by Dino Parti, former CEO of Limbo and inside developer Playdead. That shared DNA is evident in Somerville's somber, surreal atmosphere. The game centers on a rural family, a father, mother, and child, whose lives get turned upside down by a cataclysmic event involving extraterrestrial visitors. The journey unfolds as a side-scrolling adventure game where the family must survive this apocalypse as it rips through small towns and beyond. You can watch the most recent trailer below. I'm going to play the trailer and then I'm going to finish the article.
Sure thing.
Just make sure OBS, yep, people will be able to see it. Okay, I'm playing I'm playing the trailer now.
Mm.
Looks interesting.
Oh yeah.
Definitely whets my appetite for more. Looks interesting.
Yeah.
So basically, these extraterrestrials are trying to shoot you down.
Mm-hmm.
Just let me get the next trailer ready, and then.
Oh, it's the second
I'll
trailer.
return. Yeah, but that's for the next article. Somerville was first unveiled during E3 2021 and most recently popped up during last December's Game Awards. The game will be available on Xbox consoles, including Game Pass and PC. With the what do you think of the trailer of and this game in general?
Somerville I saw earlier, yesterday or Thursday, and it looks pretty good. I'm not a big fan of. I'm not a huge fan of UFO related type of science fiction style type of gameplay, but I'll take the chance. If it's, I do like to play science fiction games like that. Of like what it's called. Oh wow, I forgot how many science fiction games I have played so far. I forgot already, but yeah, it's another edition, so it's yeah, I can't say much about it right now. So I can if I see the actual gameplay of it, I might see how good it is and hear the reviews afterwards. So
yeah, it looks really interesting. It looks like you're being chased down by aliens, and you're basically trying to survive. So I have no problem with it. Excuse me. That's what happens when you're drinking during the podcast. So yeah, it looks interesting. It looks. I'm a lot more interested than I was beforehand. Now that I know what this game is going to be like,
oh yeah,
or what to expect. And it sounds interesting to me, and I want to try it.
Oh yeah.
And it will be available via Game Pass. So, hey, even if it's as long as it's on the cloud, even if it's Xbox Series S or X, we'll be able to try it.
Indeed.
So, and if you're a PC gamer, I think you'll be able to play it too. And I guess we'll wait till we hear more about it.